Hello and welcome everyone to another video, and today's video we'll be talking about the best teams and the Open Great League teams that you could use to hit Legend, teams that people used also to hit Legend. This video we'll be talking about the best teams that you could use, and it's going to be like a much faster video. I won't be yapping for 20 minutes and just going straight for the point. And we're gonna like mention the main Pokemons that you will be seeing in Open Great League, such as Skarmory, Annihilape, Gligar, Azu. These stuff do not exist. Dugong, Basti, Vigoroth, Lantern. So those Pokemon are everywhere. So we're just going to talk about the top performers, and before we do it, let's just go take a look at the PvP ranking. Registeel, Carving still dominating. I don't even see them though. The problem with it is like the meta team, the current condensed meta is just like Pokemon that are just extremely fast to get to a charge move. So we're talking about that Pokemon that can get to a charge move in 4 seconds, 5 seconds at max. Stuff like Annihilape, Feraligatr, Gligar, Mandibuzz. Azu still has a decent play in the meta, so the top performing Pokemon in the current meta according to PvPoke is Spark Lantern, even though Spark is nerfed. But people just disrespect Lantern too much, so like you see lots of teams that are literally triple weak to Electric or double weak to Electric, so that's why Spark Lantern is still usable. Those three Pokemons like comes right after, like Quagsire. Whenever you see Quag, it's Shadow, okay? Registeel and Carving. I don't agree with those two, but they can still RPS, like if people are just extremely weak to them. Umbreon, Clodsire, and Azu are like just very disrespected, so you could run these Pokemons, and I can bet that you will find at least every team, most of the teams are at least double weak to either of those three. So make sure you're using at least one Pokemon, hopefully 2 Pokemons from this list. So the top performing teams, okay, we're just going to talk about the teams that exist at high MMR, and you will be gauging or like measuring like what you will be using based off these teams. The top performing team according to PvPoke is Skarmory, Quagsire, and Gligar. This team is ABA weak to Water Gun Lantern, so that's why Lantern is actually decent in the current meta, even though it's nerfed. It's just because people are just insanely weak to Lantern. Water Gun Lantern give this team actual like pain, like it's tough for this team to beat, but they are just relying on people not running it. You use a Quagsire to bait out the Azu, and then you have Skarmory to beat the Azu. Annihilape is kind of difficult, but every Pokemon here, like 1, 2 are just a neutral to Annihilape, and you have a Gligar as a hard answer. The second best team, according to PvPoke, even though like I was talking about this team, people were laughing that this team doesn't make sense. And then I saw lots of people using it, and lots of people were saying that this team is actually good, which is 3 Pokemon that are just neutral to the current meta. No hard counters, no RPS Pokemons. Vigoroth with Mandibuzz. Vigoroth Mandibuzz makes like a decent core that doesn't RPS, so people who are trying to outplay their opponent and by using neutral Pokemons, this is like the great core. If you don't like Trevenant, you could run Feraligatr actually, but Trevenant does make sense because stuff like I think Charjabug and Lantern give this team pain, so this Trevenant makes more sense than Feraligatr just for those two. Another solid team, the team that Rizzi used to hit number one on the leaderboard, which is Wiggly Double Fighter. I'm sure most of you saw this team and didn't know why this team exists. It's because of a trainer named Rizzi. You can find him on Twitter. This is his username. And the unique thing about this team, he was actually running Power Up Punch on Poliwrath, just for those people who are running Skarmory, because people who are in Skarmory used to stay in. And I think if they are slow on the switch, you could get to no, never mind. But the Power Whip help in lots of matchups, and people used to shield because no one runs Power Up Punch, and every time you Power Up Punch, people will shield as long as you bait, okay? You build up to Scald, throw Power Up Punch, because nobody expects Poliwrath to run Power Up Punch. The team is kind of unique, and he was the first one to come with this team. A team I actually tried myself and found great success with it is Mantine. Please buff this Pokemon. With Annihilape and Shadow Quagsire, or you could do Trevenant, or you could do Feraligatr. But Quag does make sense as having a hard answer to the Lantern. Another solid team, which is very neutral, I call it neutral gameplay, which is Lantern, Vigoroth, Gligar, And you could have an Annihilape instead of Vigoroth if you just want to RPS some people who are running Vigoroth themselves. But I kind of like the Vigoroth. It just has a much better neutral gameplay. A solid team that I like myself, which is Charjabus with Shadow Dragonair and Gligar. This team is very decent. You don't technically have a hard answer to most of the meta. It's just like this team just ditch lots of fast move pressure that people will be shielding baits because they cannot afford going down shields. They cannot afford losing that much HP very fast because we have a good fast move pressure here, insane fast move pressure here, and we're running Shadow Gligar, so we have good fast move pressure here. If you want to watch a video about this team, I have hitting a new season high with this solid meta team. This is the thumbnail of the video. If you know this channel, if you watch this channel, you would know how much we love a Pokemon called the Dragonite. Dragonite is just insanely good of a Pokemon, and I love this Pokemon, and that's why we always recommend the team with the Dragonite. The Dragonite with Lantern or Charjabus and Vigoroth. You could run it with Licky, but Vigoroth actually is better in the current meta than Licky. I hate to admit it, but it's actually better. Usually you use Vigoroth as a safe swap, but if they bring in something like Feraligatr or like a water Pokemon, you just go into Charjabug. Charjabug does provide a better play if people are using stuff like an Annihilape in the swap or a Skarmory. I'm assuming those are good. Oh, never mind. Both are good into Skarmory, but here Charjabug is kind of better against the current meta, but Lantern is still decent because people just disrespect this Pokemon too much. Another solid team, which I saw a lot, Skarmory, Goodra with Trevenant or Shadow Quagsire. I don't know who came up with this team, but I know that this team was actually giving me lots of pain in the Go Battle League, where like I actually added it to my sheets, so just like I can mention it like the next time I record the video about Open Great League teams. The team is extremely decent. I myself had lots of angry times where like I was just molding so hard because I just like, this team does not make sense. People need to stop using it. Yeah, I was just a bit salty because I was losing. It's not that because the team is bad. The team was actually cooking me. Solid Empoleon team. With Empoleon, you always run Shadow. Please do not run the non-Shadow, okay? You need a Shadow Empoleon. Non-Shadow Empoleon is bad. It's so bad. The Shadow is just much better. This team is kind of like a very hard-hitting, fast-move team. And the problem with this team is that it actually does struggle into something like Vigoroth. Altaria team. I was looking for an Altaria team, and I was like, okay, what was the Altaria team that I was struggling against? Which literally was Altaria, Skarmory, and Lantern. It's a good team. It's a decent team. If you don't have Altaria, you can always run Goodra. You could always run the Jason team, which is Dugong, Manta, Dugong, Annihilape, Bastiodon. It's arguably the best Bastiodon team. If you are into Azu and you want an Azu team, this is the best Azu team that exists because it's my team, which is Charjabug with Azu, and some people are running it with Mandibuzz. I sometimes run it with Feraligatr or Annihilape, just because we're just very weak in the lead to something like Gligar. This is a good team. And if you don't have skills, you can just always unleash the inner Jonathan Kelly in you and run a Triple Charm. Okay, Triple Charm is a very no skill. You don't need to have skills. It's like you buy a car and then you just like have a chauffeur instead of driving. Yeah, this is Triple Charm is the chauffeur for you. You don't even need to. You just tap your screen for the win and beat those people who are running Annihilape and Sableye and Azu. And that's it for today. So thank you so much everyone for watching. I tried to keep it a short video because this video is about, I know that people want to have some teams to copy or like use or like just to have an idea on how does the Great League team, the Great League meta look like. Thank you so much for watching. This is the end of the video. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and see you in the next video. Peace.